Can you see the fan outrage over John Cena's final night in WWE? A WWE Legend is back in the mix, and who is it? WWE Unreal is coming back, and the latest on Randy Orton. Let's get into all of it. It's Sportskeeda Wrestling. Hit the like button. Subscribe. I'm Kevin Kellum. I want to hear from you in the comments below. WWE Unreal. Yeah, let's get into that. It's coming back for another season on Netflix. Confirmed for January 20th, the participants in this season of the behind-the-scenes docu-series that some fans think reveals too much about the wrestling business include Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Pat McAfee, Jelly Roll, yeah, the celebrity element, R-Truth, Io Sky, Naomi, Chelsea Green, Penta, and Lyra Valkyria. Now, some fans claim the show just reveals too much about how they put everything together, but isn't that what everyone goes on the internet to find out about with wrestling anyway? They're just showing it to you. I never understood the backlash against the show. Maybe they pull it back a little bit too much, or it feels a little bit too orchestrated for the camera, so it isn't unreal when it's supposed to be real. I get that part. Did Triple H and the WWE creative team cancel a major feud? Let's dive into that one. Dirty Dominik Mysterio, the Triple H champion, and his Hall of Fame father, Rey Mysterio, once again recently reignited their standing issues, which are always going to be there until this thing gets settled or until Rey Mysterio gets retired. Recently, Logan Paul has gotten in the way of Rey Mysterio, and maybe that stopped the father-son feud coming back. Some are claiming it should have happened in San Diego, California. The 619 for Rey Mysterio, have him take on his son once again on a major stage, but they went with Dirty Dominik Mysterio in the second-to-last match with John Cena, which was quite the attraction and was a part of John Cena's farewell tour, so either one could have been really good, and WWE has time to always, as long as Rey Mysterio stays healthy, go back to this feud, maybe even WrestleMania 42. Until then, Rey Mysterio is going to sprinkle some stardust on Logan Paul. As for Rey Mysterio's booking in general, he is being treated like a feature attraction a little bit more, and maybe he needs more of that featured status. Championship gold on the line, a match added to Saturday night's main event, also just had the stakes raised with someone from TNA. Let's get into that one. WWE has confirmed that NXT superstar Javon Evans, that young OG, along with TNA Wrestling's X Division champion, the high-flying Leon Slater, will challenge for the WWE World Tag Team titles against Dragon Lee and the phenomenal AJ Styles at Saturday night's main event in Washington, D.C. on the supporting card of John Cena's final match. This will stream on Peacock in the United States and around the world on Netflix. This is a big deal. Maybe the most important match we've seen a TNA wrestler featured in WWE in quite some time, and likely the biggest match of Javon and Leon Slater's careers here. This is a big deal for them. Now, I don't expect them to win the titles, but if they did, well, that would be quite the story. It's also worth noting that TNA Wrestling has a new TV deal coming up that'll launch in mid-January on AMC. I wonder if they get a plug for that on commentary. A recent name called up from NXT to the main roster is really impressing officials backstage in WWE. We're talking about Lash Legend. According to Bodyslam.net, the higher-ups backstage in WWE are, quote, very high on Lash Legend, particularly with her performance in the multi-woman WarGames match at Survivor Series, and she is being primed to have a breakout year in 2026. Currently, she's kind of like a lackey to Nia Jax. Once she can get out of that shadow and really start going on her own, she needs to have some big star-making matches. You don't become a breakout superstar without having your star made by the likes of, oh, I don't know, Bianca Belair, maybe a Bayley in there as well. What do you want to see happen with Lash Legend? Who's another name from NXT you'd like to see get called up to the main roster? Let us know in the comments below. Right now, some news on Randy Orton, the former world champion who has had a sporadic kind of featured status role in WWE for quite some time now, is being advertised for the January 30th, 2026 episode of SmackDown in Saudi Arabia, the go-home show for the Royal Rumble, leading many to think that he'll be a part of the Royal Rumble in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, Randy Orton has been on and off with WWE for quite some time, since returning to WWE action in 2023 after a very serious back injury. Now, some are claiming his booking hasn't been that strong, but he's one of those guys you can always push up to the main roster and make a big deal with in the main event scene. And just because he's not there all the time doesn't mean people aren't going to lose their minds once he shows up. Yeah, we're talking about him now because you already care about Randy Orton, right? But Randy Orton as a bad guy, not just a feel-good veteran, I'm happy to be back in the ring. Yeah, when he was sinister and mean and menacing, that's the Randy Orton we need to see again. What about you? Do you want to see Randy Orton go bad again? Let us know in the comments. Next topic, that Royal Rumble freakout from fans online about getting tickets. The number floating around in screenshots was 850,000 quote-unquote people in queue to buy tickets for the 2026 Royal Rumble in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia being host to WWE events has been something debated now for years. Many fans saying, I'm not going to travel to Saudi Arabia. But then you look at that number and you think, wow, there's a lot of people that want these tickets. That must be a lot of people that want to travel to Saudi Arabia. So is there some, kind of water being thrown on that I'm not going to Saudi Arabia fire? I don't know. It's not clear. But one thing that's worth noting that's outside of the wrestling bubble, a lot of these numbers of the 850,000 could also be bots. Yes, robots on the internet. What a thing. Yeah, trying to buy up those tickets and resell them on the secondary market, which is where those ticket prices really get driven to the moon. And WWE doesn't control the secondary market. The secondary market does. But this is also an issue across the board with live entertainment. A high in-demand ticket becomes something that is really hard to get. WWE, no matter what you think of it, is still highly in demand for these big premium shows. A WWE Hall of Famer is going to be back on commentary for Saturday night's main event. Let's cover that. Jesse the Body Ventura. Yes, Jesse the Body will be back on color commentary reportedly for this weekend's Saturday night's main event featuring John Cena's last match from Washington, D.C. Now, he wasn't on the last one, and there was some mixed reporting about whether or not WWE was going to stop having him do this featured commentary thing since he did it on the Saturday night main event cards back in the 80s. Well, there were some people that weren't too happy maybe with his performance in a certain cage match they had on a recent Saturday night's main event card. That may be an issue, but Jesse the Body is quite the character. Having him come back adds a gravitas, makes the event feel special. Not going to be there all the time, so when he's there, it does feel special. Just like when they change up the ring announcers or make the ring look different. It's an addition to what's happening in the ring. And finally, John Cena versus Gunther in John Cena's final match, win or lose, and is the main attraction of this weekend's Saturday night's main event, streaming on Peacock and around the world, will open the event at this time. Now, obviously, plans can change, pal, but there's a lot of people freaking out about this, saying that has to be the main event. And relatively, on paper, that would make sense. But as someone who's worked in broadcasting, there's a reason they're doing this. It plays into history, specifically with Saturday night's main event, where back in the day, Hulk Hogan, the main attraction of WWE in the 80s, with these kind of special additional broadcast shows, would be the opening match to get people tuning in for that first quarter hour, and then maybe they would drift off and tune into something else. Maybe that's what WWE's going for here. But considering this is a streaming exclusive event, maybe WWE should just let John Cena be the main event and not cut this one short. But no matter where it lands on the show, there is another report from the Wrestling Observer that there is no set runtime for Saturday night's main event, allowing everyone on the card, including John Cena, to take in the moment and perform without limitations that we may have seen on previous Saturday night's main event broadcasts recently. Still, the discussion will be, should John Cena close the show? I want to know from you. I say he should. I get kind of the technique here of putting him front and making him a big attraction to have casual viewers at the beginning of the show, but still, it's John Cena. He should close out the show, right? Get in the comments. Let me know what you think, and watch more of our videos. Check out our latest news videos. Dive into our back catalog right here on YouTube. It's Sportskeeda Wrestling. Hit that like button. You see it. It's right there.